Hi, I'm Eric Westrich, and you're watching Startup Show San Diego, a startup TV show about startup companies. And this week, we're at the Esri User Conference in the Startup Zone. We're here with Ian Smith of Drone Deploy. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here.
So you're in the Startup Zone. How did you get started with startups?
So I got started with startups. I was actually flying helicopters previously. I was a new flight instructor in 2008 in the United States. Worst time ever to be a new helicopter flight instructor. It cost $250 a flight hour with 40 hours needed just to get a private license where you couldn't even be making money yet and making your investment back for your commercial investment there. So pivoted a little bit, got into larger companies, brokering jet fuel for corporate aviation. And then I heard about drones in 2013, and all of the drone companies in 2013 were still startups, which most still are. And I found one in France. I made my way over to France, and I wound up working for a drone startup there making hardware, long-range fixed-wing drones. And then after about a year and a half, I found another drone startup doing software called Drone Deploy in San Francisco and moved over here. So that was kind of my journey into startups, and it was almost by virtue of the drone industry being so new at the time was why, I kind of got into the startup industry. And I was going to start my own a little bit too with drone related as well.
And not paying $250 a flight hour still?
No, I think drones cost somewhere in the range of like 1 to 2 cents or, a few cents per flight hour.
Very good. And so what is it you're doing for people, and what's the biggest challenge in rolling that out?
Yeah, so Drone Deploy as a company, it just is literally trying to make the sky accessible and productive to anybody with, leveraging drone technology. But what I do at the company, I do some sales and business development activities. And so we're really just trying to kind of be consultative for the end user and make sure that they can be connected with like the best kind of drone deploy plan that we offer that will benefit their business the most. So whether they're a farmer or grower in agriculture or a construction survey company, engineering companies, mining, etc. I mean, we're even seeing aviation companies getting into drones, obviously, but for other purposes like airlines and things like that. So it's a very exciting industry right now.
So do you fly the drones? Are you helping them with their drones? What is it you do? You said you're a software,
Correct.
But are you a software and hardware, or how's that work?
So we just build software. So we only make the software. We don't do anything with hardware anymore. We used to make a 4G LTE modem that was embedded on the drone that would send live images back into our processing pipeline. So where we would create the maps and the 3D models in real time. We no longer do that because we really needed focus as a startup. And it's very, very, the most important asset. We're based in San Francisco. We're venture funded. We have, plenty of resources monetary, but our biggest asset really is our time. So we had to really streamline, and that's where we kind of decided like we're only going to do software. So that's really why we focus on that, and we don't operate the drones ourselves. We just make the software for other individuals and businesses, different companies that want to actually use it themselves with their own hardware.
So what is the best thing one of your customers has ever said to you?
I think like this is the future, something like that. Like a lot of customers give us a lot of props. I mean, part of it is because the drone industry is so hot right now, and people are just so happy to get this technology in their hands, and they're so passionate about their drones, posting pictures of their drones being tucked into bed on Facebook groups and getting hundreds of likes on that. So they just love it so much, and it's really just like an early adopter technology. So people get so excited and they tell us we're doing, they're honest with us. Sometimes they tell us, we're not doing the best job. Hey,
what is the biggest impact that what you're doing is going to have on your customers in the next 1 to 3 years?
Very good question. So the biggest impact will probably be really kind of fundamentally changing the workflow on how people in the field are collecting data. So typically it's not been very easy to collect aerial data. So our customers will experience a lot more accessible. The data from the air will become a lot more easily accessible by them to use in their business. And so it's going to augment. It's never going to replace, anyone's job. It's really going to augment. So the project manager who manages 10 different construction sites in a specific area will now be able to probably manage them more effectively and maybe even take on more responsibility because they don't have to constantly be at the site. They can access all this data just from a web browser. So I think we're going to see efficiency, productivity gains, and just general more happier people. I think happier employees is always a good thing.
Happy employee is good. So, Ian, the most important question, if somebody wants to get a hold of Drone Deploy, how do they get a hold of you?
They can go ahead and check out our website at dronedeploy.com. We've got a Twitter, which is at dronedeploy. They can hit me up on Twitter. I'm at skycapture. And you can hit us up also info@dronedeploy.com via email. And I think that covers most of the channels. We don't have a phone number.
Can I see you tucking your drone into bed on Facebook?
I'm not going to Facebook live stream that one anytime soon. I don't think my wife would appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks, Ian. And thank you for watching Startup Show San Diego.